Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of an Oracle Apex Office Hours. We're going to talk today about building AI-powered apps with Oracle Apex, and I'm your host, Jason Haynes. I'm an Apex product manager. I'm really happy to be here. I have a few new pieces of information to share with everyone on the call. In the meantime, in the chat, let us know where you're on from. But today's going to be an exciting episode of a lot of great content featuring AI-powered apps. So we're pleased to announce the Apex service has adopted eCPUs on Oracle Cloud and per gigabyte storage pricing. This lowers the barrier tremendously for businesses or small organizations or even individuals that want to have Apex apps running on the power of Oracle Cloud on an autonomous database. Take a look at the links there, apex.oracle.com. You'll see that when you go to the Getting Started, there is now a new link that brings you to the pricing page. There's a nice new grid that explains all the different comparisons of the different service levels. Now, not every permutation, but you're going to have a lot of good information there to get you started and at least get the conversation going as what option is best suited for your needs using Apex on Oracle Cloud. We have a variety of new blog posts to tell you about. There's a general guide for modernizing Oracle forms using Oracle Apex. Sterling Sites cuts development time by 60% using Oracle Apex. That's like a success story. There are customer reactions to the new features found in Oracle Apex 23.2, and another blog about custom plugins for non-sequential steps in Apex workflow. So if you're going to be using the new Apex 23.2 workflow feature, that's going to be another great little resource to learn how to do non-sequential steps in workflow, because it's not always that cut and dry. In addition to that, we have a variety of events. This week especially, I'm here in San Francisco. I'm going to be participating at the developerweek.com conference. It's here in Oakland. So that's the next couple days. Coming up next week, we have office hours in Portuguese. And the week, actually same week, just a couple days later, office hours in Spanish. And on March 12th, we're going to have Oracle Dev Live and the Cloud World Tour in London. March 21st, Oracle Cloud World Tour Milano. And over in Netherlands, we're going to have Apex World on March 21st to 22nd as well. So you can see March is shaping up to be a very busy month for Apex and various conference events. Today, I'm very pleased and excited to welcome Chaitanya, Rupesh, and Tawfiq to discuss and talk about Apex AI-powered apps and how it can all be done with Apex with very low code overall. This is just an exciting opportunity to be able to show you what Apex can be able to do with AI features that are available wherever those features are, whether it's ChatGPT, the stuff on Oracle Cloud. There's even other cloud opportunities of consuming AI features that Apex can take advantage of simply because Apex has no code approach to REST. Well, you can then take that no code approach of REST in Apex apps and build on top of it for all these other features with low code. And it's just a very exciting time to be an Apex developer. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Chaitanya, Rupesh, and Tawfiq.
Thank you, Jason. Okay, welcome everyone. First of all, a safe harbor statement here. While please do not make any purchasing decisions based on the talk that we do today. Most of the items that we are covering today are production, but there are other products that we are discussing. So please do not make any purchasing decisions based on the presentation and demos today. First of all, before we go ahead and then learn how to build AI-powered applications with Apex, let us first understand why AI and why Oracle AI. As you see on the slide, from databases to all data, we are moving from databases to different types of data. We are now living in a world that is more connected and more automated than ever. If you want to derive more business value, if you want to derive new business value, you must explore and use new data sources from this connected world. For example, that can be videos, that can be images, that can be sounds, audio, feed, sensor, and many more. You should be able to work with all sorts of data and all types of data, and also at the same time on all of these data together. So you should be able to work on all such data together, moreover, in a massive scale. For example, supply chain is no longer dependent just on inventory, demand, and order management signals. A manufacturer should also be able to understand what exactly is the global weather condition and the data should be describing global weather patterns for them. and how that is going to impact their supply chain. Most of the businesses need to pull these data from as many different sources, social media sources as possible to understand how customer sentiments impact product sales and corporate brands. In short, in the current scenario, what you need exactly or basically is a platform that ensures all of this data works together seamlessly and very easily. As you see, it all starts with data. What exactly are our customers going through with this whole AI innovation overall? It all starts with data. For decades, we have been dealing with structured data. For example, as you see on the screen, we have customer records and orders, right? Your customer records are in your CRM application, and your orders are from the ERP database. And data is typically organized as database tables, all right? And whenever you need any insights into these data, all you would do is simply you would use some stored procedures and SQL queries to deliver the required answers. However, the expectations are more now. Number one, you want to use AI everywhere. You want to use AI to construct sophisticated predictions, detect anomalies, make decisions, and also in sometimes you might want to take decisions or actions autonomously. Data, as you see, is getting complicated. There are different formats and different types of data. And most importantly, data is getting scattered all over your businesses. And what you need right now is some tools which can help you to find this data, consume it, and easily make sense of it all. You need basically AI to analyze, for example, your phone call transcripts, your support tickets. There might be email complaints from customers so that you can understand what's going on, what customers are looking for, and how they are actually feeling, or what is the feedback on your products and services so that you can improve accordingly and strategize accordingly. AI capabilities like NLP, for example, vision and anomaly detection are becoming as essential just like your SQL queries now. So AI capabilities are essential to accelerate innovation, to assess your business and to help you with your business, and also most importantly, exceed your customer expectations. So in short, connecting your applications, data, and infrastructure is the very key for you to benefit the most out of this data. Now let's move on to know a little bit of the Oracle AI stack. As you see here, you have AI infrastructure all the way until applications. Oracle has taken a very pragmatic approach to embed AI in every layer of this tech stack, and you can really do more with less, right? Apex plus AI is what we are coming now. So by having AI covering the entire tech stack, starting from the AI infrastructure that the business runs on, to all the way to applications for literally every line of business, Oracle is helping organizations pragmatically use AI to improve performance while saving time and resources, energy and resources as well. So as you see, our cloud infrastructure, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, includes a unique AI infrastructure layer based on our supercluster technology, leveraging the latest and greatest of hardware. And you get maximum out of this AI infrastructure for scenarios such as, for example, large language processing. And on top of this, you have our database and analytics layer embedded AI, for example, in products like autonomous database with AutoML. So developers don't need to know, they don't need to be experts at all. And all they can simply do is just add pre-built models to their applications and operations. And then as you see on the screen, we have AI services, Oracle Digital Assistant, for example, which will help you, and also AI speech and OCI speech and language, vision, and so on. And on top of that, you have applications. Apart from these, you also have applications where Oracle has a broad range of industry applications that embed AI models, where you have all these AI models can have some pre-trained models that can tackle the specific challenges that arise in these business scenarios, for example. So more to learn about these in this today's session, we'll be covering Oracle Digital Assistant and Vision and Gen AI. And then AI-powered applications with Oracle Apex. This is what we are going to demonstrate later on by Taufik and Rupesh. What exactly are the benefits of having AI-powered applications with Apex? On the screen, you see three things. The first one is native platform capabilities, right? You can leverage native platform capabilities by building applications with Apex, AI-powered applications with Apex. You can leverage native OCI capabilities like AI infrastructure, we just covered that, and also object storage. And then with a wide range of AI services, you can integrate your Apex applications. And it's pretty simple. You use your REST data sources and invoke API, REST APIs, basically, invoke process APIs, basically, which Taufik and Rupesh will be covering. So you will be seeing some demonstrations on how do you integrate with certain OCI services. So seamlessly integrate straightforward integration with OCI AI services. Then you can have personalized experiences and recommendations. You can improve your user engagement and user experience of your applications. You can deliver personalized experiences and recommendations based on AI-driven insights. So this is a quick summary of the benefits or why you should actually think about building AI-powered applications with Apex, but can be more as we evolve. So with that, I would now love to pass this on to Rupesh to cover more on OCI Vision. How do you empower your Apex application with AI-powered image search? Over to you, Rupesh. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Let us start with the very first integration of this particular office hours, which is integrating OCI Vision with your Apex applications. Before seeing the demo on how to integrate OCI Vision with Apex, let us first understand what is OCI Vision. OCI Vision is an AI service that uses deep learning for large-scale image analysis. Developers can effortlessly add image and text recognition to their applications with pre-built models. If you're looking for any custom vision services that you want to integrate, you can also build your own custom models. These models can be used to detect visual anomalies in manufacturing. For example, let us say you can detect visual anomalies in manufacturing industry, organize digital media assets, and you can also tag items in the images to count the number of products or shipments that you have delivered so far. So there are lots of use cases that you can use to integrate OCI Vision with Apex applications. And OCI Vision provides pre-trained and custom models. Pre-trained models include image classification, object detection, face detection, and text recognition. And the custom models, you can also define your own custom models for image classification and object detection as well. Let us understand a little bit about this architecture in the coming slide. Okay, let us understand a very simple architecture. For example, I have some files available in my object storage or in my local storage. I want to analyze the images. I want to find out what is available in that image. For example, be it a tree or a cat or a dog, whatever is available in that image, I need to analyze that. So from my local file, I'm passing it on to OCI Vision services, where it will analyze using the pre-trained models. Or if you want to use your own custom models in your OCI Vision, that is also supported. You can use your custom models to detect any particular object in the image. So once the processing is done, you can integrate that. You can send the response back to your Apex applications or any OCI applications or any applications that you want. You can pass on those responses for further processing. For example, if you want to do a searching on top of that, if you want to find anomalies on top of that or something like that, you can pass it on to your Apex applications. Now, some of the common use cases where you can use OCI Vision with Apex applications. You can basically use OCI Vision to make your images and videos discoverable and searchable. That is the main use case of Vision, right? Along with that, you can also identify visual anomalies in your data. AI vision systems provide a high level of precision in detecting even subtle visual defects. For example, let us consider like this. OCI Vision can be employed to detect surface imperfections such as scratches, dents, or color variations with high precision and speed. If you want, like I mentioned, you can also customize your own custom models. And you can also use OCI Vision with Apex applications to detect and classify objects in images. This is a simple application that we have built where we have integrated social media application with Vision or with OCI Vision. So a user can go and upload an image to this. The image is further processed with OCI Vision and the text is returned back to your Apex application. Once that is returned, you can make your images searchable. You can make your objects searchable on your Apex application out of the box. If you want to try this out, you can quickly scan this QR code. I'll wait for next 10 to 15 seconds so that you can go and scan this and you can go and search whether it's a cat or a dog or a building or whatever you want. You can go and search in the predefined images. Okay, going on. So let us understand how we have integrated this. I have a demo already built. I'll be showing what are the steps that I use to achieve this integration. Before even doing that, let us understand the steps one by one. First thing, you need to configure API keys in your OCI console. That is the very first thing. Once the API keys are available with you, you need to create a web credentials in Apex. After that, you need to create REST data source by using the web credentials, which will help you to talk to your OCI Vision services. And then you need to invoke the REST data source, whatever you have created earlier, right? The same REST data source, you need to invoke them using a page process inside your page. Then once the response is received, you can parse the response and store the information in your database as per your requirement. So let me quickly jump to my browser where I'll be showing the actual integration. So this is my OCI Vision application, social media application where I have integrated this. Let me go inside this and I just want to add a new post. Okay, I'm choosing an image from my local system. Let me search like a lion picture. I'm going to upload a lion picture here. Okay, click on apply and post it. Now what is happening in the backend? It is talking to, it's already done. It spoke to OCI Vision. It gathered all the inputs and came back to my Apex application. You can see the output here by clicking on my icon. You can see it is matching with lion 98.55%, cat 98.49%, and all other possibilities that you have. And you can also make it searchable. I have created a simple search. For example, if I'm going and searching as lion, it will show all the lion images available in my Apex application. So how I did this? Let's go back to, this is my OCI console. Let us understand where is my vision service available. I'm going back in my search, in my navigation menu, I'm going to analytics and AI. Inside that, under AI services, you can see vision service. Click on that. And in this particular example, I'm going to use image classification. I'm going to click on that. You will be having a predefined image just for your demo purpose. You can see this image contains overhead power line, road, vegetation, electric supply, etc., etc. And what is the request that OCI Vision expects? You can see that here. You need to pass compartment ID, what is the source and other things, what is the feature type, what is the maximum results you are expecting. This is your request type. And this is a response that you will get from OCI Vision. Now we are going to parse this response in my Apex application, request in my Apex application. How I did it? Before that, I need to generate my API keys. Click on my name here, profile name. Once I click on that, you can see I already have my API keys defined here. I have 3 API keys. I'm not going to add a new API key. I'm just going to demonstrate this. Once you define your API key, you can see the configuration file where you'll get user ID, fingerprint, tenancy ID, and you'll also be able to download a private key as well. Once you have all these parameters available with you, all these configurations available with you, all I need to do, go to my Apex workspace, click on App Builder. I need to create a web credential. I'm going to Workspace Utilities. Under my Workspace Utilities, I'm just going to click on Web Credentials. If you notice, I have already configured a web credential. I have already configured this. I'm just going to click on Apex AI Cred. You can see the authentication type is OCI. And inside that, I'm passing my user ID, private key, tenancy ID, and key fingerprint. With this, my web credential got created already. So how to integrate this in your application? Let me go back. to my app builder. I'm going to Epic social media application. First thing, what is the third step? I have created API keys. I have created web credential. I need to create a REST data source. I'm going to shade components. Okay. Inside my shade components, you can see here, I went to REST data source and I have created it already. So what is the endpoint URL? From where you can ask me, from where you can get this endpoint URL? All I need to go to OCI API keys page. Inside that, I went to Vision API. Under Vision API, I just need to go and select based on my region. You can see I'm using Ashburn region. I'm going to select this API URL. We are not done with this yet. I need to call a particular service in my Vision. So I'm going to call analyze image. Along with this, I need to append the analyze image syntax as well. So which is a post method. I need to append this to my analyze image to my Vision API. Once this is done, my complete API is already configured. You can see it here, which is analyze image. Now let us see what is available inside this. You noticed it already that this is a post call. So what I did, I went to my operations. I clicked on edit for post. And you have seen the request already, right? I am giving the request body template here. Upon giving this, I have created 3 parameters for compartment ID, file data to pass the file, and a feature type. And upon giving this and clicking on synchronize with body, you can see 3 parameters will get automatically created. Now I need to capture the response that my Vision service provides, right? For that, I have created one more response. Please note that this is a out parameter. The response will come to this out parameter. And I have added one more parameter which talks about content type, HTTP header, and application/JSON. This is JSON content. With this, my REST API is also REST data source is also configured. Now I need to use it in my particular page where I'm going. I can just go here, click on page 1. It will take you to the respective page. I need to go to processing. Under processing tab, I have created a process execution chain process already, right? In my execution chain, I have 2 processes. Let me go one by one. The first process is an invoke REST data source. The REST data source which we just created, I need to invoke that and get the response from my Vision service. So what I did, invoke REST API, REST data source is my name, and the type is invoke API. I'm using the type as REST data source under settings. I'm selecting REST source, and the REST source name is OCI Vision. Operation is post. As and when I pass these parameters, I will see the parameters which my REST source expects, right? Compartment ID, I'm giving an item from P1 compartment ID is where I'm getting my compartment details. And I'm giving my feature type, which is a static value for now, which is image classification. And I'm giving the file data. So I have written a little bit piece of code here. The user uploads an image to my application, but OCI Vision expects that in a CLOB format, in a base 64 encoded format. So what I did, I used Apex Web Service, blob to CLOB base 64 PL/SQL API, and have converted the blob data into CLOB, and then I'm passing it to my Vision services. Okay. Once I'm done, I'm using the response. This is an out parameter again. I'm storing the response in P1_response. I hope everyone is clear till now. Once I capture my response, my next job is to parse the response and store it in my Oracle database table. So what I did, I created one more page process called parse the response. Inside that, I'm using the type execute code. You can see the code. Basically, I'm just updating social media post. With whatever response I'm getting, the JSON response that I'm getting, I'm parsing it into my AI output. I'm updating my AI_output column using a comma separated value. And just for my demonstration purposes, I'm also storing the JSON output directly as well. With this, my integration is completed. All I need to do now is to create this particular search bar, and I just need to show the results. So for that, I went back to my rendering pane. Here I have added a new page item, P1 AI_search. Once user gives an input, this is a plain text field. Once user gives the input, I'm going back to my timeline. Under this, I have added a where class. That's it. My images, whatever user uploads, end user uploads, are searchable out of the box now with the help of OCI Vision. If you have any questions about this integration, please feel free to use the chat section. And the QR code that you have scanned earlier contains a blog post or a video and a live lab as well. Okay, with this, my first integration with completed. Let us talk about how to integrate chatbot into your Apex application now. So we are going to, the next step is to integrate Oracle Digital Assistant to your Apex application. Okay, Oracle Digital Assistant. Let us understand a little bit about that before we see the demo. ODA or Digital Assistant delivers a complete AI platform to create conversational experiences for business applications through text, chat, and video interfaces. Along with this, the patented deep learning algorithms that ODA provides understands a user's natural conversation, derive intent and context out of that, and build memory from user behaviors in multiple languages. And you will also get one assistant for all your applications. Once your ODA assistant is created, you can utilize it across your all the applications. It's not restricted to a single application or a single platform. Once ODA provides a digital assistant, you can utilize it across all your applications. Basically, you just need to go and configure the SDK and provide the channel ID. So your application, Apex application, or any other application can talk to ODA out of the box. And you will also get a lot of pre-built skills and templates available out of the box, which you can leverage. For example, I want to integrate a greetings skill into my digital assistant. The templates are available pre-built for you, so you can go and leverage them out of the box. Okay, let us again talk about simple architecture. Digital Assistant is a platform for creating conversational interfaces or chatbots, and you can integrate them with any application. So how does it work? Digital developers assemble digital assistant from one or more skill. Like I mentioned earlier, you can combine multiple skills and create a single digital assistant. Skills can be based on a pre-built skills like we discussed before, or you can provide pre-built skills by Oracle or third parties, or you can create your own custom skills. Once a skill is created, you just need to add it to your digital assistant. A single digital assistant can have multiple skills, single skill or multiple skills, right? It can be your greeting skill, it can be your question and answer skill, or any skill that you create. A single digital assistant can have multiple skills. Once a digital assistant is created, the final step is to communicate with your applications, be it your Apex applications or messaging applications or mobile applications or any IVRs. You just need to communicate with them, right? For that, you need to create channels in order to communicate, establish a communication between your digital assistant and your conversational AI applications. So how I did it? Well, before we go there, let us understand some use cases. You can integrate Apex applications with chatbots for various purposes. Some of the use cases you can see, if you want to create approvals, if you want to gain knowledge access or sales assistant, procurement, expense approval, inventory, you can utilize a digital assistant or a chatbot for all these use cases out of the box. I'm just giving a few examples. The potential is limitless here with Apex and AI. So this is a simple chatbot application that we have integrated into your demo projects, which is a sample application. You can see the chatbot here, where I asked what is Oracle Apex, and it has given all the complete answer for me. So you can ask your questions in a natural language, and your digital assistant can understand that and provide the answer based on the skills and intents that you create. So let us understand a little bit about what is a skill, what is the intent, what is a digital assistant, and what is a channel. Okay, with this, I'm going back to my browser. So even though digital assistant is out of the scope for Apex, I'm just giving a brief idea by taking a very small example. Please check this out. Okay, first thing I need to do, let us find out where is Oracle Digital Assistant or Digital Assistant available. I need to go to, in my console, I need to go to Analytics and AI. Once I go there, I have a digital assistant configured here. You can see I have already a digital assistant provision, and I have configured everything in that. Let us understand what we did there. So I just need to click on this Apex_ODA, which is my digital assistant. I need to click on Service Console. For the sake of this demo, I have already opened the Service Console. Okay, let me just go back and see if the session still exists. Okay, it is still there. So first, when you log into your Service Console, please note the URL here. you'll be using it at later point, and you can use it till oraclecloud.com. Please note this URL. So once that is done, I need to go and create my skill. What is a skill? Let us understand a little bit here. I can just click on new skill and add as many skills as possible in my digital assistant. This is my digital assistant service console. So I'm going to Oracle Apex integration. Under this, for each and every skill, you can add something called intent. Intent is nothing but, for example, you can see, I want to ask my users about Apex intro. My users will come and ask what is Oracle Apex or what is the best enterprise low-code application development platform. It should answer with this, right? So I went and created intent called apex.intro. You can see the answer. I have already predefined this. You can, this is a static one. You can use dynamic with the help of your database table using REST APIs as well. And I have created some utterances which I'm expecting the users will ask. You can always train it with machine learning model, so it will take all the utterances possible around these questions. Now, if I scroll up, I just need to train this. I just trained it for a linguistic based model. You can train it for a machine learning based model as well. So I have created one more thing. If a user comes to my application to opens my chatbot and says like, hi, hello, how are you? Good morning, good evening. I have mentioned an answer for that as well. Okay. These are the two intents I have created in my skill. So my skill is ready. My skill name is Oracle Apex integration. Now I need to go to digital assistant. Why? All my skills, so for example, let us say I have 5 skills I need to utilize in a single digital assistant. Once I use that, your digital assistant will understand particular question and it will automatically navigate to that particular skill and get the best option possible or best answer possible. So for that, I have created a new digital assistant. Inside my digital assistant, what I did, you can see it here. I have added a skill. You can just click on add skill and check this out. That will come automatically. So I have, this is already there. So I cannot add it again. So I have added a skill that we have created earlier. Once a skill is added, you can see all the details done. There is not much configuration required over here. Once my digital assistant and skill is ready, I need to create a channel where I'm going to communicate between my digital assistant and my Apex application. That channel is coming here. Okay. In my channel, I just need to add a channel and select route to which digital assistant. The one which we just created, integration Apex with ODA, which is a digital assistant. I just selected that option from the dropdown. I just selected that particular digital assistant and I have enabled this. Once I enable this, you can see there is a channel ID here. This is something that you use to integrate with your Apex applications. Digital assistant configuration is done. I have got the channel ID, I have got the URLs, I have created skills, I have created intents, I have created digital assistant, etc. Now what I need to do? I need to click on this download section. It will open the available SDKs for download. You need to download the latest SDK, which is a zip file. Okay. Once your download is completed, you need to unzip it and you need to find 2 files called settings.js and websdk.js. Why those 2 files? Let us understand the integration with Apex now. I'm going back to my page designer. Let me go back. I'm clicking on my quick projects application, which I already have. In my quick projects application, all I need to do, I need to go to shared components. Under shared components, I'm going to static application files. From the zip file which you unzipped, you will get 2 files called settings.js and websdk.js. You need to upload those 2 files to your static application files. This is where what you're going to refer in your application, right? Now, websdk.js, you just need to upload. You don't need to configure anything. Configurations, everything happens inside settings.js. I'm going to click on settings.js. You can understand what is happening there. This is my settings.js file. If I scroll down to this function called init SDK and name, usually it is bot, which is a chatbot. You can see this is you just need to pass the parameters bots at a variable as bots at later point. So under this function, I need to copy the URI, which I have used earlier. I just need to copy this particular URI and I need to paste it under URI. I need to replace it basically. And the channel ID we got from your channel, you just need to paste it here. That's it. My integration will happen through this settings.js. And if you want to customize it any further, if you want to add your own logos or if you want to add some other customizations, you can customize this particular JavaScript. Now my integration is done. I need to copy these two file references, URLs basically, for your settings.js and web-ticket.js. Now I need this available on all my pages in my Apex application. So what I did, I went to user interface attributes. There are a lot of options to do this. I went to user interface attributes. I went to my JavaScript section and I have pasted both my URLs here, settings.js and web-ticket.js. And the final step, you can see here, this is my quick projects application. Let me reload it. My chatbot is, okay, my chatbot is available everywhere. If I just click on that, and for example, let's say hi, okay, let me give hi again. You can see this and you can see what is Apex. It will show you the response. So how I did this, I went to my page load, I went to my application, I went to my page 0 and created a dynamic action on a page load. So I went to my page 0 and went to clicked on dynamic actions. On a page load, I have created a dynamic action. What it does, in my dynamic action, simple code, I went to true action and selected the type as execute JavaScript code. You can see I'm just calling that function where you configured your URI and channel ID. I've called init SDK of bots. This will create the chatbot in your application. That's it. My integration is completed. If I click on run, you can see, okay, this is a page 0. I cannot run it. If I click on run, you can see the chatbot here. So you can configure wherever you want to display. You can configure by going to settings.js at any point in time. Okay, if you have any questions, please feel free to utilize the chat section, Q&A section. And with this, I'm handing over to Taufik, who is going to speak about generative AI and select AI integrations in your applications. Thank you.
And in this next few minutes of this session, we will be discussing about generative AI. So Rupesh has covered about the applied AI, and now I'll be covering about the generative AI. And the first topic I'm going to talk about is how you can build innovative Q&A experiences in your Oracle Apex applications using OCI Generative AI service, right? So before we go into the Apex integration, let us first understand what exactly is OCI Gen AI service and what are the key features that you can expect from this service. First thing is it is a fully managed service on OCI. When I say fully managed, this is accessible via APIs and it is hosted on OCI console, and that's where you can get to use it. Secondly, second point about OCI Gen AI service is that it provides you enterprise grade Gen AI with data governance and security. When I say security, only you have access to your data and custom models. No other person, no other customer will be able to see your data and your custom models. OCI Gen AI service also provides pre-trained out-of-the-box LLMs, right? So there are all these LLMs available which you can readily use with Gen AI. And not just that, you're not limited to using the pre-trained LLMs. If you want to refine these models with your own business knowledge, you can also do that by building custom models using OCI Gen AI service. Now let us go into more details as to what OCI Gen AI service is providing, right? So first, the Gen AI service provides LLM models. So it provides new models available from Meta and Cohere for the Gen AI capabilities. For example, Llama 2 is available from Meta, using which you can do text generation. Command model is available from Cohere, using which you can do again text generation, and you can use the Cohere summarize model to summarize text content. Documents you can summarize using summarize model, and you can also use the Cohere's embed model to create vector embeddings of your text data, right? And OCI Gen AI service also provides dedicated AI clusters. So these dedicated AI clusters gives you the ability to host foundational models on dedicated GPUs that are private to you. These clusters also provide you a stable throughput performance that's required for production use cases, right? And the next thing which OCI Gen AI service provides is LangChain integration, right? So OCI Gen AI will be integrated with LangChain, which is an open source framework that has emerged to develop new interfaces for Gen AI applications, right? This is also available out of the box from Gen AI service. And the next thing which you can expect from this particular service is it also has it also supports GenAI operations, like it provides content moderation controls. You can swap, if you have a custom model, you can swap your endpoints with zero downtime. And OCI GenAI service also captures a series of statistics, like how many calls are made to the GenAI service, how many tokens are processed, and if there are any errors, the error counts are also captured. So these are some of the things which are available out of GenAI service. Now let us understand how GenAI service works, right? So GenAI service functions in a single response, single request, single response model. So the uh, user gives a prompt to the GenAI service. That prompt is sent to the large language model. This prompt can be prompt engineered as well, right? You can add more context. You as a developer can add more context to the actual question your end users have put forward, and that the engineered prompt is sent to the GenAI service. The GenAI service does its magic. It uses all the context that is available in the prompt, and it tries to generate the text for you, the response for you, right? This response is sent back to applications, which can then be shown in whichever way you want. This is single request, single response architecture which GenAI employs. Now, coming to some of the interesting use cases where you can use OCI Gen AI into your in your Oracle Books applications, right? You can use Gen AI service for text summarization. You can summarize articles, transcripts, or doctor's notes, for example, or you can also summarize support calls, and it gives you a good summarization. That's something you can use Gen AI for. And you can also create copies. For example, you can create marketing copy, a draft of marketing copy emails. You can also write blog posts. You can also create product descriptions using Gen AI service. The other use case is you can create chatbots using Gen AI service. So these chatbots can use Gen AI's large language models, and they understand the natural language which the user is asking questions in, and they can extract this information from whatever knowledge base you have supplied. Right? You can also use Gen AI service for stylistic conversion. Right? If let's say you have a text and you want this text content to be rewritten in a different style and different persona, you can do that with Gen AI service. And you can also use Gen AI service to classify documents, to classify text, right? Let's say you have customer chat logs or support tickets, and you want to classify these support tickets and chat logs based on the conversation, whether it's a critical or whether it's a positive or negative feedback that is coming in. You can do this text classification using OCI Gen AI service. And last use case can be that you can also create a search kind of functionality using Gen AI, wherein user will enter a text term as a search term, and you can search through all your call transcripts, internal knowledge sources, and you can implement semantic search, wherein user is searching for one term, and you can also show documents where similar terms are available, right? So these are some of the use cases where you can use Gen AI service. If you can think of any other interesting use cases which I have missed out, please feel free to use the chat section to show your innovative thoughts. All right, now coming to the demo. As I said, I'll be showing you a demo of New York high schools where we have built an innovative Q&A experiences. So in this application, some of the features of this application are the New York City residents. They can log in and research and apply to high schools. And you can this particular application uses generative AI to provide a conversational inquiry about the school, right? And you can also, this particular application also has email generation capabilities. So based on the filter criteria and the school selected, this application can automatically generate an email, which is a school application for your children, for example. Right, now let's quickly see the demo. For that, I'll shift to my browser. Right. So this is the NYC schools application. I have logged in with my email ID. And as you can see here, I have featured search, and all the schools that are available in this particular application are shown here and in the cards region. Let me quickly search for some of the schools. Like for example, my daughter is interested in science and math and computer science and technology. I can select these filters here, and the cards region is automatically refreshed. I can also visualize these maps on these schools on a map region, for example, like this. And let's say I want to only I'm only interested in schools which are less than 5 miles from me. This is my current location, and these are the schools around within 5 miles radius. And I also would like to apply one more filter of borrow. And then if I go back to cars region, this first school looks interesting for my daughter. I want to inquire more about this school. I want to know what exactly is this school providing. So I click on ask questions. Now here I can have a conversational inquiry to learn more about this school. For example, I can ask what languages are taught at this school, and it comes back with an answer. Similarly, because my daughter is also interested in sports, I can ask what sports are played, something like that. It can be anything. I'm asking these questions in natural language, right? You can ask these questions in whichever way you want, and the GenAI service understands what exactly you're asking, and it's coming back with an answer. So how is this happening? So to give you brief context of how this is all happening is, if I click on this button here, what I'm doing here is I'm building a context document, right? This context document is also sent along with the prompt that the user has put, and this based on this context document, the GenAI service is able to answer all these questions. So this context document is generated based on the data in my database for this particular school. I'll show you in a while how this particular document is generated. But before that, I think the school looks good for my daughter. I'll click on apply. I click on apply. Here I can provide a name and click on generate letter. Again, based on the school and the kind of filters I've applied, the GenAI service will take into consideration all these filter criteria and the school, and it generates an email for me automatically. Right? You can see all the email that the generative AI is generating for me, all the text. And if I want to edit this email, I can always do that. So it's writing all the things which it thinks is appropriate for this particular use case. If I want to edit, I can edit this, and I can click on send application, which then sends this application to the school administration. This is an end-to-end demo where I have shown how you can integrate OCI GenAI service into your inbox application. Now let us see how this is built behind the scenes. Rupesh covered most part of it. As I've explained earlier, it's a fully managed service. So obviously the first step would be that you configure REST data sources. So here, if I go to shared components in this application and go to REST data sources, here I have configured a REST source called Generative AI. If I click here, this is the URL that the service is located at, and this URL you can get from the GenAI documentation. I have also defined credentials, and if I click on credentials, I can see that this credential is of type OCI. So based on this, Apex knows how to authenticate and how to sign your REST API request. I go back to REST data source to see what other settings I have. So I have defined a post operation for this particular REST data source. Here, I have defined my request payload, and I have also defined some substitution strings, compartment ID, and the prompt. So whatever the question that the user is asking, that is sent along with some extra information is added to that prompt, and that is sent in this particular attribute. And here, while defining the REST data source, I'm only defining a substitution for this, which can be passed dynamically when I invoke this particular REST data source, right? And I have all these parameters, substitution strings of parameters are also defined here with whether they are in or out and other information, right? Now, once I have defined this REST data source, what I can do is next, I can invoke this particular REST data source. So where do I invoke it? In my Learn More page, if I go there, here under processing, I have a generative AI call where I'm using the invoke API process type, right? I'm not writing code to actually invoke any REST API, right? Up until this point, all I used is my mouse and keyboard to define REST data source, and then I'm using the invoke API process type to invoke this REST data source. So type is REST source, and I choose the generative AI REST source, which I have just now created, and then the operation will be post, because this will be a post request. As soon as I select these settings here, all the parameters which are defined for this REST data source are shown, and now here I can pass values to these parameters. For example, compartment ID, I can pass value to that. It can be stored in a page item, or it can be coming from an application setting, for example, here in this case. And the prompt, also the final prompt. Here I'm preparing a final prompt. As I said earlier, the final prompt will not just contain the question that the user has asked. The final prompt will be a concatenation of a prompt context along with the prompt. So I'm writing some, some context as well. I'm giving some hints to the GenAI service using this final prompt that I'm producing here. So this is the actual question the user has asked. Along with that, I'm also concatenating the prompt context. Now, to understand how I'm constructing this prompt context, let us go to that page item, prompt context page item. And if I go to the source, as I said, the context document basically is information about this school coming from the database, right? So this is what I'm doing, basic concatenation of all the relevant fields from this school. I'm querying my high schools table and passing the columns as concatenated values. And that is how the prompt context is generated. So the prompt which the user has asked along with the context is being sent as a final prompt to the GenAI service, using which the GenAI service will try to answer the question, and that response is stored in P6 response page item. This is all same as you have seen in the Vision demo, OCI Vision demo. So you basically pass the parameters and the response is captured in a page item, and the response is a JSON object, right? So you have to parse the JSON object. For parsing, you can leverage the JSON capabilities of Oracle database. Apex lies inside the database, so Apex can also leverage the JSON capabilities, as you know. So I'm using the JSON capabilities to parse this particular JSON response and extract the attributes which I need. For example, in this case, I need the text that is generated, the final text, and that text is again stored into my prompts table, which then gets displayed in this particular Learn More screen. This is how you can integrate with a limited code, in a low code fashion. This is how you can integrate OCI GenAI service into your Apex applications. All right, that's about OCI GenAI service. Now moving on to the next one. The next service we're going to talk about is Select AI service, right? So before we begin and go to the demo, we'll talk about some of the key important points to note about Select AI service. So Select AI is a capability of the autonomous database. This is where Select AI differs from the other AI services that we talked about earlier in this session. For example, OCI Vision, ODA, and OCI Generative AI service. These are OCI AI services available via REST APIs. Whereas Select AI is a feature of Oracle Autonomous Database. So you need an autonomous database to use this particular Select AI service. So what can you do with Select AI? Traditionally, SQL is the language you use to query the data in the database, right? With Select AI, you can talk to the database and get insights from the database using human language. That's where Select AI stands out. At the very basic, what Select AI does is it generates SQL queries using natural language, sort of NL to SQL conversion, right? So let us understand how Select AI works behind the scenes. So the first step of Select AI, what Select AI does is that, or what Select AI needs is an AI profile, which you as a developer would define. So AI profile holds the information such as table names, right? The LLM provider that the AI profile should use, and the credentials to authenticate with the LLM service. So all this information is defined in the AI profile. The next step is when a question is asked, Select AI constructs a prompt. This prompt contains information from the AI profile and the question that is asked. So this, both the profile information and the question is put together. They're both put together. And basically, this is a packet of information that contains all the information that the LLM service would need to generate SQL. Now, this prompt is sent across to available LLM services via REST API. The supported LLM services are OpenAI, Cohere, Azure OpenAI, and in future, we will also be supporting OCI Generative AI service. So once this particular prompt is sent to these third-party LLMs or OCI Generative AI, for example, the LLM model will generate the SQL query, and the SQL query is sent back to your application. So your application can then display the SQL results maybe in the form of an interactive report or in charts or in whichever way you want. This is how Select AI works behind the scenes. Let us quickly see how you can configure Select AI. What are the steps you need to take? The first step is you need to create a profile like I have mentioned earlier. So you can create a profile by using the DBMS Cloud AI package. You have a create profile procedure there wherein you can create a profile. Here you can provide the list of all the tables and the LLM to use and also the credential. So here in this example, I'm using OpenAI, for example, and I'm also providing the corresponding credentials. The credential here actually is the API key from OpenAI. That particular API key is stored as DBMS cloud credentials. So once the AI profile is defined, now I can use Cloud AI package again to generate the SQL. For example, here I'm passing my prompt. As I said, along with the prompt, I can also pass some data if required, and I can pass in the profile name. So profile name will include all the tables that this particular LLM model should consider while creating the SQL. And the action here I'm saying show SQL. And when I say show SQL, it will return the SQL query instead of executing it. So the SQL query is returned, and that is what you're storing in the L response, and then you can build interactive reports or charts on top of this SQL query that is generated. Right? To quickly show a demo of how you can put Select AI to use, I'll be using this particular application called ChatDB. So this particular application, it uses a movie stream schema to analyze data from the schema and get insights. And with this, in this application, you can converse with the database in natural language. Once the results are returned, these results can be visualized using the reports and charts available in Oracle Apex. And you can also filter through the result set. And on top of that, you can also view the SQL query that the LLM has generated. Right? So let's quickly jump to the demo. Let me go to my application here. This is the ChatDB application, as you can see, which has a conversational UI. And for example, let me ask a question. As I said, this is based on movies data set, right? I want to know what are my top selling movies. And first refresh this page to be sure the session is active. Right, this is active, and I ask the question, what are my top selling movies? Now, as you see, I have also marked ask database. So it's actually going to put this question across to the database, and this result is coming from the database, right? So all these are my top selling movies based on total sales that movies have made. Let me ask one more question, like for example, Avengers Endgame. I want to know who starred in Avengers Endgame. Let's see what the LLM model generates. Again, this is also coming from the database, and it is giving me all the names of the actors. Additionally, I can also put my question across to open internet. Instead of looking for this information inside the database, I can also put this question across to the internet. For example, I want to learn more about horror. Tell me more about horror. And I'm unchecking this ask database, so it will put this question across to the open internet. And I ask this question. So what is happening behind the scenes is it is reaching out to the LLM service provider, and it is generating this particular text, right? So as I said, we can also explore more. Let's say for the first question, I want to see more values. I can simply click on explore, and you can visualize these results in the form of interactive report, wherein you can have the capabilities of data filtering, for example, or showing this particular report in the form of a chart. For example, I can create a bar chart. Label can be movie title, and the value can be total sales. And I can create a bar chart on top of this, right? And you can also filter, you can have a full row search, and all these out of the box capabilities you can leverage using interactive report. Additionally, as I said earlier, you can also view the SQL query that is generated for this particular question. So when I asked, what are my top selling movies? This is a SQL query which the Select AI is able to generate, right? And also the explanation also I have generated using the chat feature. I also asked Select AI to explain to me the SQL query, and that is what is shown here. All right. So these are all the features of ChatDB application. And now let us see how this is actually built, right? Now I go to this application. This is a ChatDB application. So the main components where this is built is in the home page. So in the home page here, I am making a Select AI call. So as soon as user asks a question, I'm calling this particular Select AI call, and I'll show you the code which I'm using to call. As I said earlier, we'll be using the DBMS Cloud AI Generate package. You can see here, that's what I'm using, DBMS Cloud AI Generate package, and I'm passing the prompt. The prompt, this is coming, this is the user question, and the action that I'm using here is show SQL. Along with the prompt, I'm also passing in my profile name. I'm getting a profile name, which is stored as a preference in my particular application. I have already created this profile. This profile will contain all the tables. Basically, it contains the movie streams tables, the schema, and that is what is being sent to the LLM to generate the SQL. Once I have the SQL, I can store the SQL in my database table and then reuse it to build reports and charts. Other interesting thing I'm doing here is I'm also trying to create a short title for this conversation. If you see here on the left hand side, depending on the type of conversation that we are having, I'm trying to generate a title. So that is also being generated using Select AI. Instead of using show SQL, instead of generating something as a SQL, I'm generating a title. So I'm using the option called chat. So it will just generate some text based on the prompt that is supplied. This is the basic overview of how you can use Select AI, integrate Select AI into your Apex applications. We also have a detailed blog post on this and how you can do this, how you can configure Select AI and get started with Select AI in Apex. That concludes my demo about Select AI. And also I would like to share some resources which you can use to learn Oracle AI integrations with Oracle Apex. So we have this particular blog series that we have started. You can scan the QR code and you can go to this particular blog post and see all the blogs that are written about Apex and AI. If you don't like reading blog posts, if you like to watch videos, we have the same content available as video as playlist on YouTube. You can go through these videos. These videos provide you step-by-step guide to integrate AI services into your Apex applications. That concludes my presentation. Over to you, Jason.
Thank you so much, Tawfiq, Rupesh, and Chaitanya. This has been a fantastic example of what you can do with Apex, leveraging AI features in cloud, in Oracle Cloud, other clouds. It doesn't matter. Just remember that anything that has a REST API on the internet or has connectivity to where your database is running Apex can be leveraged with Apex just as easily as you've seen today, more or less. We have a hands-on lab that features a Vision AI demo and some of the concepts that have been discussed here today. We have a lot of new content coming down the pipe, and the future is looking really bright for Apex with AI. But before we leave, we have a few polls that we'd like to throw up on the screen and get some answers to. If you wouldn't mind, Monica, starting off one of those polls, just so that we can get a little bit of information back from everyone still on the call. Please don't leave just yet. There's only a few of them. We'd like to try to get an idea of exactly where you are and where your mind is at with regards to Apex and AI. This is not a scientific poll, of course, but we're just trying to get a good idea of where things are going in the domain of the public and everyone that's using Apex for various app development. I hope you've enjoyed this session. I've learned a lot myself. Understand that even in general, there are things we are all still learning, right? Just because we can use the AI features in Oracle Cloud doesn't mean we have all the answers. And there've been a lot of great questions. For example, Pleman asked about what is the context window for this model? What happens if your text is too big to fit in the context? Are you leveraging similarly search use vector store? I don't even know the answer to that question. But this is another example of a question that we should discuss on the community forum. So please, Pleman, if you wouldn't mind posting there, we'll try to follow up. Jürgen, you've got some great questions too. Don't know the answer. We'd like to learn more about that. And the right to left stuff, I've asked that before. I don't know, but let's find out. So what we'd like to do is proceed onto the next poll question before we finish here. Apex, are your production apps using the new 23.2 workflow features? Yeah, we would like to know. I mean, just in general, any new Apex 23.2 new features that you're using, You love them, you hate them, you wish you had different features applied to them or updates on a future release of Apex, let us know. Remember, the Oracle Apex Ideas app is there for you, the community, to give us the feedback by way of your suggestions. Maybe some of the ideas will make it into a future release of Apex, maybe not, but we're really working hard to go through all those ideas and submissions and make some of these features come to a future release of Apex. Thank you, everyone, for your answers there. Thank you for sticking around a little bit longer today to get these answers made for these particular questions. All right, let's move on to the next question if we can. Yeah, are your developers using working copy yet? Well, we're getting a bunch of people saying that they are. That's great to hear. But the question is that I really have, I know you can't answer it here, obviously, but we'd like feedback on how that's working for your teams. Do you actually have apps that you've been using working copy as a developer perspective that have made it into production successfully because you use working copy? Things like that. That kind of feedback is what we're interested in hearing. I see a lot of people are not using it because you're using an older release of Apex, and that's okay too. It's coming. You'll get it eventually. All right. And our last question, I think here, yes, do you plan to integrate Apex with OCI AI services? We've got a lot of great feedback. Thank you, everyone, so much for staying on longer. Thank you for participating and being a part of this office hours session. It is recorded. It will be made available on our office hours site when it's available. Beyond all that, please go to the Apex community forum, create a new post there if you have a question. We'll do our best to get the answers, especially some of the ones that were more involved. That's why it's there. It's there for you. And until next time, everyone, thank you for joining. And I hope you all have a great week. And we'll be seeing you again. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and all our participants, and also all our panelists for answering almost 100 questions today. It's been quite busy. So beyond all that, thank you again for our speakers presenting all this content. Have a great one. See you next time.